C.S. Lewis was born on November 29, 1898 in Belfast, Ireland. Lewis's mother died when he was 10. During World War I, he served with the British Army and was sent home after being wounded by shrapnel. Lewis graduated from Oxford University with a focus on literature and classic philosophy, and in 1925 he was awarded a fellowship teaching position at Magdalen College. Lewis began publishing work in the mid-1920s with his first book, The Satirical Dimer, in 1926. In 1938 he released his first sci-fi work, Out of the Silent Planet, the first of a trilogy which dealt subtextually with concepts of sin and desire. During World War II, Lewis gave highly popular radio broadcasts on Christianity, which won many converts. His speeches were collected in the work of Mere Christianity. In 1954, Lewis joined the faculty of Cambridge University as literature professor, and in 1956 he married an American English teacher, Joy Gresham. Lewis's landmark series, The Chronicles of Narnia, has seen a number of on-screen iterations, including a cartoon version of The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe that was released in 1979, and in 1989 a BBC film series. Additionally, in 2005, a big-screen adaptation of The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe hit movie theaters. 2 more Narnia films were brought to theaters as well, Prince Caspian in 2008 and The Voyage of the Dawn Treader in 2010. In 1963, Lewis resigned from his Cambridge position after experiencing heart trouble. He died on November 22nd in 1963 in Headington, Oxford. Out of the Silent Planet is a science fiction tale of Dr. Elwin Ransom's journey from Earth to live among the inhabitants of Mars, called Malacandra in the local language. Through the medium of science fiction, the novel addresses several social issues such as racism, colonialism, and religion. It is the first book in C.S. Lewis's space trilogy. While on a walking tour of the English countryside, Dr. Elwin Ransom, a college linguist professor, is kidnapped and drugged by 2 men. He awakens to find himself aboard a spacecraft. His captors are Devine, a wealthy and greedy Englishman, and Weston, the brilliant physicist who designed the spacecraft. Weston explains they are bound for one of the other planets in the solar system, but does not reveal which, except to say the inhabitants of the planet call it Malacandra. Ransom learns that Weston and Devine intend to hand him over to the inhabitants of Malacandra called Sorn. He imagines the Sorn to be terrible creatures intent on killing or sacrificing him, and decides he would prefer suicide to such a death. He resolves to escape or die trying. Ransom does manage to escape his captors. Just as they are about to hand him over to a group of Sorn, they are attacked by a dangerous sea creature called Hanarka. In the confusion of the attack, Ransom escapes into a forest of enormous plants. Ransom wanders in the forest for a while and comes across a seal-like creature that seems to be talking to itself. Deciding the creature must be intelligent, Ransom makes signs to it, managing to communicate that he is hungry. The creature, which Ransom learns is called Hross, feeds him and takes him by boat to a canyon where the other Hross live. Ransom lives among the Hross for several weeks and gradually learns the language and culture of the people of Malacandra. The Hross, he observes, live in the canyons, use simple tools, and enjoy poetry and song. The Sorn, he is told, inhabit the higher areas and are knowledgeable in history, astronomy, and science. The Piflatrigi are a third race, skilled at making beautiful and useful objects. Ransom repeatedly asks which race is dominant, or in charge of the planet. The Hrossa seem confused at this notion and answer that Oyarsa, an entity that lives in a place called Melidorn, has reign over the entire planet. Ransom is summoned to Melidorn by an Eldil, the nearly invisible creatures who serve the Oyarsa. Assisted by the Hross and a Sorn named Aragwe, Ransom makes his way to Melidorn, which is inhabited by all types of Malacandrans. While examining an artistic representation of the solar system in Melidorn, Ransom realizes that Malacandra is Mars. Like the Eldil, Oyarsa is invisible but can be heard. Weston and Devine have also been summoned by the Oyarsa, and the 3 men are interrogated. Ransom learns that Devine's intentions are to take gold from Malacandra back to Earth, and that Weston intends to pave the way for humans to take over the planet. Oyarsa quizzes Ransom for a long time about the Earth, revealing to him that a creature similar to the Oyarsa once had ruled over the Earth, but had not been heard from for hundreds of years. For that reason, Earth is called Thokandra, which means silent planet. Oyarsa tells Weston and Devine they must return to Earth in their spaceship, but invites Ransom to stay on Malacandra if he wishes. Ransom decides to return with the 2 men. The next to last chapter of the book is written from a viewpoint of the narrator and explains how he came to learn of Ransom's adventures and to write a fictionalized account of it. Finally, a fictional excerpt from a letter by Ransom himself is presented. These chapters link the events and characters presented in the novel to current events and foreshadow a possible great upheaval among the planets of the solar system. Because of many life or death situations throughout the novel, Ransom has many revelations about life, death, space, and what it really means to be human. And how could we endure to live and let time pass if we were always crying for one day or 1 year to come back? If we did not know that every day in a life fills the whole life with expectation and memory, and that these days are that day. But Ransom, as time wore on, became aware of another and more spiritual cause for his progressive lightening and exaltation of heart. A nightmare, long engendered in the modern mind by the mythology that follows in the wake of science, was falling off him. He had read of space. At the back of his thinking for years had lurked the dismal fancy of the black, cold vacuity, the utter deadness, which was supposed to separate worlds. He had not known how much it affected him till now that the very name space seemed blasphemous libel for this embryon ocean of radiance in which they swam. He could not call it dead. He felt life pouring into him from every moment. How indeed should it be otherwise, since out of the ocean all the worlds and all their life had come? He had thought it barren. He now saw that it was the womb of worlds, whose blazing and innumerable offspring looked down nightly, even upon the earth with so many eyes, and here, with how many more? No, space was the wrong name. A sense of great masses moving at visionary speeds, of giants dancing, of eternal sorrows consoled, of he knew not what yet, and he had always known, awoke in him with the very first bass of the deep, mouth dirged, and bowed down his spirit as if the gate of heaven had opened before him. Finally, here is an artistic representation of what the landing on the planet Malacandra might have looked like.